How are y'all doing? It's Alaniz, CEO and founder of Basics. And in today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down Carson Butler's transformation. Now, Carson came to me at 158. He was growing his business rapidly, but what ended up happening is he started to forget about his health in the process. And because of that, him and I shared, quite a bit of colleagues back in the day. Reached out to me back in November of 2024, and he said, "Hey, Aaron, my business has been growing, but my fitness has been slowing." So because of that, we got him on the new 1 hour body program. He's been able to work out, with everything laid out for him every single day. His diet is dialed in, his macros are dialed in, his sleep is dialed in. He looks completely different. And when people talk about you being able to get a six pack in 90 days, I know it sounds like bogus marketing stuff, but if you see the interview and you watch it in its entirety, you're gonna see that it can happen for you if one, you're willing to do the work, two, you're within a reasonable range of where you would need to be in order for that to be physically possible, and three, you work with your boy Aaron or someone else that you trust. So again, if you need a little bit of motivation, inspiration, and another reason to go out and kick ass today, watch this video in its entirety and you'll thank me later. He has seen incredible results working with me as of recent. We've been kind of reworking some of the program, and he's been one of the test people. We've been trying some things out. We've been doing some more step targets. We've been doing this. We've been trying to cut out the workout time to be a little bit shorter than we've had with most of our other clients. And we're still kind of tweaking a few things, but his results, and I'll put them on the screen right now, you can't deny them. So again, this is Carson. Carson, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, YouTube and any other platforms watching? My name's Carson. I'm a 21-year-old content agency owner. I help online business owners in the financial services space. So think taxes, tax planning, tax accounting, CPAs, etc. I help them with growing their business through educational short-form content. And yeah, one of Aaron's clients reached out to him when business was closer to its peak, but my health was not, and I wanted to have alignment in those two areas and not disalignment. So we're here now, 90 days later.
There we go, man. Let's talk a little bit more about what you were doing beforehand, because I know that you weren't necessarily a total beginner, which is what I prefer for a lot of my clients, right? Because obviously, with me being an online coach based out of Texas, I can't be there with you in person to work on some of the form stuff, but we'll kind of break down what we did for you later. But go ahead and tell them about your previous experience before you started the program, some things that you did before.
Yeah.
Understand where you were.
For sure. So before the program started, I would say, even though I started the program probably at, you could say, quote unquote, my lowest in my fitness journey, most recent fitness journey, I would say, I definitely wasn't a beginner. I started off the year January 2024. That was when I first started tracking my macros, and I was on it for a good 6 to 7 months straight, just every single day. Which, if you do 180 days straight of anything, even if you lose it, it's easy to gain it back. So for me, I was doing that, eating around 200 grams of protein per day. I would say a lot more of, eating around maintenance calories, so 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day. Going to the gym about 5 times a week, doing, my leg day every Wednesday, push 2 days a week, pull 2 days a week, cardio multiple days. Was a runner after I got out of weightlifting, so I left the gym that I was going to in May, took a break, and then started getting into running through a run club. So that was also something that I kind of added to my health and fitness journey. Ran a half marathon, I think, within my first month. Then went back into the gym, and it just wasn't the same, because I was a lot more of in a grind mindset. So before I actually joined Aaron, I had like 5 straight months of not really taking my health as seriously as I did the first 6 months of 2024. For literally 90 days straight, I was eating oatmeal once a day, right? Because it's cheap. You can get it for $10 at Costco and it lasts you a month and a half. So I was literally eating oatmeal every single day just to save as much money as I could to put back into the business that I was starting. I didn't have a job. I was just reinvesting in the mentorships, softwares, employees, and trying to get clients. So that was pretty much what I was doing beforehand. When I came to Aaron, I was definitely on the other side of the grind. So the grind had materialized into a business that I went from like 1 to 2 clients in about a month. But my health went from like 10 to 1 in 5 months. So that was kind of why I went to him and why I decided to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about that, man, because I know that in 2023, business kind of grew a lot for me personally, so I know that how that feels quite a bit.
Yeah.
And kind of talk about that feeling, man, to where it's like I know that you posted a video a while back, one of the testimonial videos we have. It's like your business was growing,
yeah,
but your fitness was slowing.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about how, even though your money started getting in a good position, you still didn't really feel like you were, being the best version of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's, in the grand scheme of things, when you think about just there, when it comes to how I would break that down, it will be coming from the point that I feel like in life there's 5 different types of people. You have symptom aware people, problem aware people, solution aware people, product aware people, and then most aware people of, hey, this is the product that I want to buy, right? Just in a business sense, right? 5 types of people. So for me, I was a lot more on the problem aware for sure, solution aware, even product aware as well. My awareness of just where I was a lot higher than somebody else that might have been just starting from zero. So because I came from doing half marathons, doing 3-day fasts, doing multiple day bulks, hitting 200 grams of protein per day, tracking my calories every day, hitting the gym 5 times a week, working out with personal trainers, and me actually having a lot of success, and me being one of the big success stories back then, right? I think it was like 6 months from like November 23 to April 24. My strength had just, skyrocketed, right? Because I was eating so much protein, I was staying consistent in the gym. So because I already had that background, I knew that where I was, it wasn't a place where I needed to be. And I'd say the biggest thing for me that was one of the most valuable things I had during those times of like my health wasn't at the best place was, I always had mentors that I would look up to, and even if they weren't paid mentors, they could be virtual mentors that I just watch their content every day, right? Yeah. One of my mentors that I actually have invested in, joined one of his higher tip programs. I don't know if anybody watching this knows Devin Jatho. So Devin Jatho is close actually to the same age as me. His birthday's in like a month. So he's about to turn 21. I just turned 21. So pretty much the same age, but making 10 times the money that I'm making, and has already done almost $250,000 months before. So me looking up to him, and I'm like, well, he's able to run the exact same business that I run, keep his health at an optimal level, right? Because he worked on a lot of fitness coaches, so he's already in the gym for himself because a lot of fitness coaches are his clients. Another person that's a virtual mentor of mine, I haven't paid for any of her stuff, but somebody named Ava Jurgens, Personal Brand Launch. She also has a content agency. She walks 10 miles a day in the mornings, wakes up at 2 a.m., sometimes 1, sometimes 12 a.m. She's 19. Yeah, 19, about to turn 20 in a few months, or like a month. So like people that I would have been in high school with, she's making $500,000 a month, but still in the gym every day, doesn't miss her 4-day workout split. So I'm like, there's no excuse, right? So for me, I just had to accept the fact that the truth that I was telling myself that I need to master business and just business instead of my health was just a truth that was a lie under the surface.
No, I agree, man. Yeah, that's the big thing that I think stops a lot of guys is I think sometimes there's certain seasons in life to where we as men need to focus on our business or our finances a little more. Yeah. And sometimes that costs our health. And it's not the most popular thing to say, and even as a fitness guy myself, I've had to go through those seasons too. But the big thing you have to realize is that those seasons end. like the season of spring doesn't last all year. The season of fall doesn't last all year. But what happens with most guys is they never put a cap on that season. So they get their money to where it needs to be. Now they're in a point to where they have a really nice spot. They have a girlfriend. They have the luxury of being able to buy whatever car they want, dinners, whatever the case may be, but they're still overweight. So I'm glad that you kind of came to that realization sooner rather than later, because again, you scale your business up to $250, $500 a month, and you can be way fatter, bro. You know what I mean? Because now you're, instead of having Chipotle, you're having fucking buttered lobster.
Yeah,
steak,
for sure.
You know what I mean? And fucking creme brulees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So cool, dude. And out of all the other fitness coaches, man, I know that you and I kind of go back a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of other coaches out there doing bigger things than myself. Yeah. But what made you want to work with me specifically on this?
Yeah, that's a really good question because, I know I actually literally texted one of my guys that is a fitness coach, and I said, hey, I ended up going with somebody else. Laughing, he didn't take it personally. But to answer the question, though, for me, I wanted somebody that, people that are like them, right? And me obviously being a business guy, me being somebody that, I post content, I'm taking sales calls, like I just know who I want to invest in, right? I want to invest in people that have structure. I want to invest in people that have SOP systems, that have worked with clients before. For me, I also knew what I didn't want, and what I didn't want was, I didn't want generalization, I wanted personalization, right? Yeah. Because when you think about coaching models and you look at, more of like an online course, right, slash curriculum, you think about group coaching and you think about one-on-one coaching. Well, the least scalable is one-on-one, but the most personalized is one-on-one, right? I've been in group coaching formats before where you have guys and you love the community aspect, but the advice that may be given may not be tailored to you. The workout's done, the intensity, the tempo, the actual workout split, it might not be tailored to exactly what you need. So for me, I knew I wanted structure specifically tailored to myself. And I wanted to work with people that are business guys, right? Like, I think it was funny. I think it was back in when I was doing my other business, right? Scars Make Stars. And from the time that we hopped on the first call, it's just, when you know, so me being in sales, I could just tell a sales guy from instantly. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's a sales guy. And not in the sense of the stigma that people think of sales guys, of people that they force you to pull out your credit card and they stay on the phone with you all day. They hound you. They hit you up at 2 a.m. and they send you 8 emails about an invoice that's $1. It's not like that. Yeah. It's more of energy, people that know how to, somebody when they're customer facing, they have the tonality, it's very easy for me to tell because I've been in sales. I've had multiple sales guys. I've had mentors in the sales, mentees and so I just know, right? So it's that was the first time that we spoke on the phone. I could just tell that you had a sales background. And then obviously later down the line when I ended up starting my other business, right, you having a genuine interest in making sure that I could scale my business up to the next level, put the best content out that I could, having a real interest in seeing me grow, even before I even expressed interest in the program that you had, right? It was something that I could tell was genuine, right? And I was like, wow, I'm almost overwhelmed with the amount of just genuine interest, love, and support that you had for what I started, right? Which is a new content style at the time. So again, people that are like them, people like people that are like them, and that just is a culmination of why I was the coaching, and even outside the coaching, the conversations that'll naturally spark outside of fitness. This is the type of guy that I want to be my fitness coach. It's not more so of like deliverables or what's offered, but who's offering it, you know?
Well, thank you.
So,
yeah, I mean, that means the world, dude. Yeah, I still remember that, man. I think I sent you a couple, either one or a few of the sound effects I used for my videos at the time.
yeah.
It was just me showing love, bro. So I'm glad everything worked out. And again, the shit you're using now for your videos is just insane, bro. So I'm proud of the growth we've seen.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So let's talk about when you first started your program, man. So obviously going from no structure, no routine, you just finished up the grind season of your business to get some cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
So then starting your program, how did that feel? How was it structured?
Yeah.
Break down that the beginning stages for me.
Yeah, beginning stages. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like if you start anything new, most of the time you have to get through the eating shit phase, I like to call it. Right? So it's like if you take your first, like if you take 1,000 sales calls over a year span, which is something I've actually done, the first 100 will probably suck, right?
Yeah.
The first 10%. So that was the same way that I would say the same experience I had, right? And I mean, and I'm not, you know, part of me could blame timing, right? Like I literally started on the week of Thanksgiving, so it was like, you know, it's like damn. But at the same time, it's like get it done, right? And
Yeah.
I just wasn't getting it done, right? You know, my calories were above where they were supposed to be for the first week. I think I was above on calories like maybe 3-4 times out of the week. You know, a lot of temptations, right? Still getting my workouts done, but couldn't maybe do it to the same intensity because I was abroad. So, you know, we went out of town. Me and my family went out of town to Destin. So we were staying in a resort. The resort gym is just basic, you know, so they don't have like squat racks and, you know, big heavy weights, right? It's just like I had to do what I had to do. So, yeah, I mean, I would say the first week was something where I was like, okay, you know, it was something where I had to definitely adjust. I had to definitely turn my brain off because I was used to making my own meal plan, setting my own calories, picking my own foods, and you know, obviously, I like the fact that you were willing to collaborate with me on that. You know, out of the favorite foods I do like, what can fit my goals. But yeah, I mean, like anything, it's an adjustment. Nothing that I would beat myself up over now. I mean, I feel like it's normal, right? You know, if you hop on the bike for the first part of riding the bike, right, you'll fall. Simple as that. And then eventually things will fall in place. So that's what happened.
I agree, man. And then when you first started the program, man, what was the thing that you started noticing that you could have dialed in more? I think you kind of mentioned it briefly, but I would like for you to kind of expand on it.
Yeah.
That you weren't necessarily focusing a lot of attention on previously to get a six-pack.
Yeah. Six-pack specifically in that realm, right?
Yeah.
For this, yeah, I mean that's the frame, the lens. The thing that I wasn't focused on the most that I should have been focused on to get a six-pack. It's a good question. I mean, I feel like theory generally doesn't fall into place with practice. So when you think about theory, right, it's like, okay, what do you need to get a six-pack? Eat less, move more. Easy. Like, eat less, move more. You know, strength training, so you have a slow burn of calories and not a fast burn of calories. Like, it's really not hard, you know?
Yeah.
Me doing things before, you know, me being heavy in the fitness before, is like, I had lost 10 pounds, 15 pounds, like, in, you know, really quickly before, gained 15 pounds really quickly before, so for me, it wasn't more so of like something that I didn't know at the time. It wasn't really a knowledge gap. I would say for me, it was a importance gap on that knowledge. So like, you know what to do, but it's like, do you place an importance on the knowledge that you have and what you know what to do? I'd say something that I knew what to do, but it wasn't something that I placed heavy importance on. You know, I was knocking out my deliverables in terms of just, or my habit. So, you know, I was doing the cardio, obviously doing the workouts, one thing that I probably could have done a lot better if I had to just think back to that time. Man, I mean, probably how much of like a game changer walking is, like doing what I'm doing right now. Because I was doing it, don't get me wrong. Like I was doing like what was said to be done, right? Yeah. And I only was doing what was said to be done because I was like, okay, well, I know he's saying do it, let me do it. But when I got deeper into the program and I started having more of an understanding of what it really takes to hit the goals that I wanted to hit and the speed that I wanted to hit them, I was like, okay, well, if I want to hit my goals and the speed that I want to hit them, Aaron said walk this much a day, but I got to walk more, right? Yeah. And I mean, I did it first and then told you, which is obviously like, okay, well, you know, what the fuck, Carson, something could have happened. But it's because, like, I knew, I was like, yo, like, I have to do what's required. So that was probably something that I didn't truly know, like, how much of a game changer it could be. Because closer to the end of the 90-day cut, I started I decided to do exactly what Ava's doing. That, you know, I mentioned her earlier in the interview. She hits 10 miles a day. She starts walking first thing in the morning. So I'm like, okay, well, I have a walking pad at home. Aaron says walk 1.5 miles a day. Fuck it, let me walk 5. So then I went straight from 1.5 to 5. No questions asked. Felt a little bit of soreness, but I was like, okay. Then went from 5 to 6, right? And then I was like, okay, well, I bike to the gym 4 miles a day anyway. But, you know, I was doing research. I was like, okay, well, if I don't bike 4 miles, then I have to walk 8.5 miles. I was like, okay. So some days I walked 8.5 miles. Then there were some days where I was like, oh, shit, like, I went over on calories. I got to walk more so I can make up the calories that I ate yesterday. So I got to walk 10. So some days I walk 10. And then on some days, it was like, okay, well, I'm getting close to the end of the cut. I need to actually do a little bit more just to guarantee that I actually make the number. I'm doing 11. So I did 11 miles some days. So me seeing the speed of results from walking and it integrating so much into my natural workflow, right? I'm at home all the time. So it's like me just walking and working, especially, you know, walking and talking on interviews, walking and talking, writing emails, talking to my team, whatever the case might be. Because it integrated so well, and then because it also fit my goals so well, it was something that I definitely slept on at the start. Because if I would have known 90 days ago what could have happened 90 days later by walking, I would have been walking more.
It's one of those things, man. There's so many guys out here that I see that'll maybe look at the most jacked guy they see on the internet, right? Yeah. And they'll see them do a kettlebell circuit, followed by a battle rope circuit, followed by another circuit. And they think that that's what they need to do in order to get a six-pack. There's also other people out there that'll look at maybe some of the hybrid athlete stuff going on nowadays on the internet. And they think they need to start running marathons, they need to start lifting, they need to start doing these ice baths, so on and so forth. But I think the big thing is also understanding, what do you see yourself doing for 10 years, not just 10 days? And I think for other guys like us, they really want to focus on their business, really want to focus on impacting our customers. Yeah. There's just so many variables at play once you start mixing in different kinds of cardio, right? Because now you need the Garmin watch to check your heart rate, right? Yeah. Now you need to manage your fatigue a little bit better. Now you need to make sure that you're getting adequate rest. And as you know, in business, sometimes you're running off 4 hours of sleep just to get your shit done, right? Yeah. So there's so many variables at play that once you start mixing in all these different training variables, they can impede with your recovery. It makes things more complex. And most importantly, it takes away attention that you could be putting towards your professional ambitions. You know what I mean? Yeah. So speaking of that, man, let's talk a little bit more about how you manage your time in order to do this. Yeah. I think there's a lot of guys out there that'll say, hey, man, I have these clients, or I have my family, or I have my girlfriend, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, it's bullshit. And they're saying, and they say they don't have the time to take care of themselves. Yeah. So, like, what's your opinion on that?
People that say they lack time lack priorities. Yeah. Just as simple as that.
I agree.
Cause let me take a page from one of my all-time, for the longest time, virtual mentors, Alex Hormozy. Been watching him since I was 18. Still watching to this day religiously. Let's just take a page out of what his plethora of advice would be. One, majority of people knowing your target audience, majority of people watching this will be probably anywhere between the ages of 25 to 45,
Yeah,
right?
exactly that.
He sent, yeah, I know that shit. I know, yeah, I define my target audience too. So 25 to 45, most likely guys in corporate, most likely guys that work 9 to 5, right? To be honest, pretty high-end jobs, and it's easy to get caught up in the Joneses. Okay, cool. So that's the target audience watching this video right now. You have 16 hours that you're up. I'm not going to say 24, that's bullshit. We're asleep for a third of our lives.
Yep.
So I'm not the person that's going to be like, well, you have 24 hours. No, the fuck you don't. You have 8. You have 16. So if you have 16 hours and you're working for 8, lunch is 9. Okay, cool. 9 hours. Take care of that. You drive for an hour, you drive back for an hour. Okay. So that's 11 hours. The fuck are you doing with the other 5?
Yep.
It's as simple as that. Because, like, people think about, especially people that have a large amount of professional drive, whether it's in business or whether it's in corporate, it doesn't matter. You have a drive to make more money, right? You might have kids that's pushing you. You might have your wife that's pushing you. You might have the wife that you want that's pushing you, so you're working a little bit harder to get the wife you want. Whatever the motivation is, you have a professional drive to make more money and be more successful. So if that is what you have a drive to do, well, you're only committing 11 hours a day towards that thing, and that's 11 out of 16 hours, which means that if we were to break that down, 5 out of 8, that's over 65% of the day that you're actually dedicated to professionalism.
Yep.
Right? But no matter how much you dedicate to professionalism, whether it's 65%, 85%, 95%, the guys that look the best will perform the best and will sell the best.
Yep.
The guys that look the best will get the best positions. The guys that look the best will get hired over you if you don't look the best. If you're customer facing, especially the guys that look the best will perform the best and get paid the best.
Yep.
So, and let's not even talk about all the biohacking benefits that the holistic health guys will bring up when it comes to mental clarity, focus, sharpness, energy, alertness. Like, I'm not even gonna get into that in terms of like you actually having the ability to be more productive when you have better health. I'm just talking about strictly just looks, right? Which fitness and wellness is different, which is why I'm just talking about fitness. If you're a fit guy, it is easy to be a financially affluent guy. Simple as that. Like if you have all variables the same, this guy's fit, this guy's fat, the guy's fit that has his advantage.
Yep.
So when you think about the lack of time, there is a lack of priorities, because if you were somebody that actually values your professionalism, you would prioritize the thing that would affect all aspects of professionalism. Like, no matter what career you have, no matter what job you have, no matter what business you have, you being fit will benefit you more than not being fit. Simple as that.
Exactly, man. I couldn't agree more, man. I think in any kind of professional landscape, there's always a degree of competition, right?
Yeah.
And whether that is through a corporate job, just like you were saying earlier, whether that's through business endeavors, whether that's marketing endeavors, anything customer facing, whether you realize it or not, you're in a competition.
Yeah.
And sometimes those people that you're in competition with are in different businesses. Sometimes they're in your workplace. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's not just about your performance, but it's about your soft skills.
Yeah.
It's about how well you can represent the company.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it's about how you make people feel. And if you can't even take care of yourself, how can you show that you can take care of other people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Like I said, lack of priorities. People doing what they feel like doing and not what they doing with it. Like, being slaves to their feelings and not to their goals. Because everybody has the goal to be fit. Everybody has the goal to make more money. Everybody has the goal to meet the wife or husband of their dreams. But do you prioritize reaching those goals through your actions or your feelings?
Yeah.
Because if you're a slave to your feelings, then you're probably not taking action.
Exactly.
So you need to, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, speaking about not taking action, man. What are some things that you've learned about taking action consistently through fitness that you've been able to see translate directly over to business?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, be proactive, not reactive.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one concept that I've learned in fitness that relates to business. Because, like, again, like I'll go back to what I said before. The KPI that you set out for me was only to walk 1.5 miles a day, just to stay consistent, right? It was something that I was doing it every day, and I was doing it every day, and I was not doing more than that every day. I was doing exactly the amount that I needed to do every day. And then when I realized the price that I had to pay to reach the goal that I wanted to reach, I was like, okay, I gotta pay a little more minutes to cardio, right?
Yeah.
You have a financial bank account, you have a time bank account. I need to pay more time to cardio. So I was like, okay, 5 miles, then 6 miles, then 8.5, then 10, then 11, et cetera, et cetera. And I was proactive. I didn't react to, oh my God, like, Aaron, he, like, me asking you a question wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Like, you would have just responded, whatever. But it wasn't the thing where I was like, I didn't rely on Aaron. I didn't rely on a cardio coach. I didn't rely on anything else. I was like, yo, I found out this is what I need to do. I didn't wait. I didn't react to not hitting my goal to then take action. I took action so that I could reach my goal. Exactly. And that's a lot of the same concepts that relate to business as well, because at the end of the day, it's like, especially number one, as a founder and as an employee. So I'll break down the two differences, because I know you're talking to two demographics of people. So as a founder of a business, that's understood. You have to be proactive. Nobody will react. Nobody can be a reactive founder, because you being the founder of a business, your job is to take action and have other people follow, as you are the leader. So that's understood, I feel like, especially for the entrepreneurs watching this. Now on the employee side, no CEO, no manager, no director, no VP. Nobody wants to hire a guy that you have to tell him what the fuck to do every day. I personally hate hiring editors where they ask so many fucking questions. I'm like, yo, Google's free, YouTube's free, the creative director's free, because I pay him top dollar to make sure he can teach you, and so that you can book a call with him if you have any questions, and so that you actually apply the things that he's telling you. Like, all this shit that you work for the company, all this is free. Like, I paid, for courses for my guys before. I've had them have coaching calls. Like, yo, like, be resourceful. Don't rely on resources. So that's what I would say is probably one of the main things that helped me out, is being proactive, especially like as I got deeper into like the 90 days. Like, once I got to like about day 60, 70, like after like day 60, that was probably one of the main things that helped me get to the next level.
That's awesome, dude. So let's talk a little bit about some of the results you've seen, because obviously you went from 158 all the way to 139 today. So we actually timed this interview perfectly.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the physique changes you've noticed. Obviously, body fat percentage has gone down. I'll put the picture on the screen right now.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, and just regarding everything you've seen from a physical standpoint, mental sharpness standpoint, productivity standpoint, what are some of the benefits you've received from this program?
For sure. Man, I'll be honest. Like, I feel like it's like, well, I'll break it down this way. There's two types of people watching this YouTube video. There's one type of person that's oblivious to the benefits that fitness has, which if you are, then it's like, shit, you might not, I'm gonna be honest, like, you might need to just get in the gym and then hit Aaron up.
Yeah.
For one. Or number two, which I feel like will be most people, they already know fitness like helps with productivity, mental clarity, alertness. I'd say the main thing that is probably one of the most valuable things that I got from just taking my own health serious is having a standard that I could demand from other people. Because as a leader, no one will follow you if you don't follow in the right steps yourself. So it's like, if I'm not on point, how can I attract people that are on point? Being a founder, right? How can I say, hey, I only hire editors that hit the gym? How the fuck can I say that if I'm not in the gym? Right? It doesn't make sense. So for me, it allowed me to raise my standard, because now not only do I attract people that are also into fitness, but that's a demand. Like, that's a demand. Like, unless you're, a VA, or, because I have other team members that aren't just like me, that aren't fitness guys, that, work all day. Like, trust me, I do have people on my team that are just, regular 9 to 5 people, but the main guys on my team, which in my industry, right, you have sometimes the sales guys that are the core part of the business. For me, my editors are the main core part of my business. I don't even hire editors. I don't even, it's not even a thought. It's like, if you don't work out, if you don't exercise, if you don't, all my editors run 5Ks, all my editors strength train, all my editors wake up at 5 a.m., all my editors work. That's like the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum. Like, the bare minimum is taken care of. Are you a good editor after that? But if you don't even have the bare minimum, it's like, I'm ending the Zoom call, So it's allowed me to raise my standard and feel confident in doing that. And me being a leader, I take pride in being able to have a high standard, because one thing that, again, one of my virtual mentors, Alaniz Mosey, said, he's like, you should have the highest standard only second to the standard that you hold for yourself. So me holding myself to a higher standard has allowed me to have a higher standard, which I would say is probably one of the more beneficial, actually the most beneficial thing that I've gotten from the program.
And that's important, man, just because leadership is all about setting the standard, meeting it, and then expecting it from others.
Yeah.
And then from there, just like you were saying with Hormozy, I know one of his big philosophies is it dilutes, like your potency as a leader dilutes with the chain of command, if that makes sense. So, like, the people that are going to be most like you are, like your chief operating officer, CMO in the future, CFO, so on and so forth. And then following that is the people they manage, and then they're going to be more like them. And then after that, then you have your people that are on the ground level with your business, right? Yeah. So because of that, since it's only going to get weaker from your standpoint, you have to be the strongest thing.
Got to.
Otherwise, the people at the bottom, they're going to just dilute.
Yeah. Because it's like, when you really think about it, think about, like, zoom out. Think about your business externally and not internally. If you were an investor in your business, or you were auditing your own business, and you had one employee that you can control their pay, control their workload, control what they do, that would be the most valuable employee of all time. Guess what? It's you. Yeah. Like, that's the most valuable employee in the business. Like, if you think about, like, just remove yourself as thinking CEO, founder, whatever. Like, fuck the titles. Just think about, if you had control literally over this person's pay, this person's skill, that's so valuable, because you're like, like, I can literally control, like, if this person works overtime, it's you. Yeah. So, get right or get left.
That's incredible, dude. So in terms of the, with some of the changes that you've noticed in terms of just, like, your general sense of well-being now, have you noticed, like, maybe a little bit more mental clarity, a little bit better productivity with your work? How are you feeling there?
I feel like, again, it's like, it's something people know, but just so they, like, because sometimes you just gotta remind people and instead of teach people, so I understand that. I feel like on my meetings I'm definitely a lot more energetic, just because, like, I always, like, especially as I got deep into the cut, I was like, like, I have to take all my meetings while walking, because I can walk and talk. There's no excuse. Walking and working is tough, because I can't, I'm not going to film on the treadmill, right? I'm going to sit down and record the content. So some of my work, I got to sit down. But on meetings, no excuse. And it motivates people in the meetings, because they're like, damn, this motherfucker, he's walking every time we talk, and, like, they're watching me, like, I'm leading. Like, I'm actively leading while on the call by taking my health serious, and they see it. So, yeah, I mean, that would probably be one thing, like, energy. Um, Man, I would say honestly, man, probably one of the bigger benefits, you know, that would be that entrepreneurs probably wouldn't value too much, that they should a lot more, is how well good health leads to good sleep. And obviously good sleep leads to good health, and good health leads to, well, let me actually say what good health is. Taking your fitness seriously, right? Taking your fitness and your wellness seriously. Being able to sleep, like, because for the last, I would say, 30, 45 days, my sleep schedule has been, like, so consistent. Like, I go to bed at 8, I wake up at 4. I go to bed at 8:30, I wake up at 4:30. I go to bed at 9, I wake up at 4:45. Like, I've been so dialed in, like, I've been waking up around the same time, like, and that was something that I valued a lot, because the way I start my morning, like, it's kind of like onboarding a client. Like, if you onboard a client and you onboard them well, it's likely that their experience will be well. Your morning is your onboarding, and you do it every day. So for me, it was like, okay, because I'm waking up at the same time every day, things just get predictable, right? I know what I should be working on. I feel, it just helps so much. So it's like, when you truly push your body, you do cardio, you do strength training, you sleep well. And then not only do you sleep well, but just the mental aspect of, like, yo, I know I gave it my all, especially in fitness. I know I checked off this fitness box today. I feel good. You can go to sleep at night and not, fucking beat yourself up. So, yeah, that'll be another benefit for sure.
That's awesome, dude. So in terms of the length of your program, because obviously with what we do, the things that we usually sell are like the 6-month programs primarily. So we have a 15-month program we offer on the higher end, and then we have a 3-month program for people that just want that result. How grateful are you that you joined the 6-month program over the 3-month? Because I already know I mentioned the reverse diet we're going to be doing, the lean bulk, and then obviously through the rest of your program, you'll be learning even more about how to sustain these results for the long haul. So how grateful are you that you were able to, like, this isn't like the end of your program? Because obviously if you didn't know exactly what you were doing, we would take these photos on Instagram, you would be the man, but then in a few months, maybe you gain an extra few pounds.
Yeah.
So I talk about, like, maybe your gratitude for maybe choosing the right program. That way you can actually sustain these results for the long haul.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely something that I'm grateful for. I say something that I didn't know at the time in terms of the benefits of a longer term program, but it actually being something that is now in my favor now. So I guess it was, like, you could say meant to be, in terms of just a blessing that I didn't expect. So I'm traveling internationally for the first time tonight. My flight is literally in like 5 hours. So after this, I'm about to fucking finish my, finish whatever I need to do in terms of packing. I'm gonna shower, and then I'm gonna be eating, getting my protein in literally on the way to the airport. So one thing that definitely helped is just, like, I would say, because me going abroad is something that I'm literally doing for the first time today, just having somebody that can already dial on my calories, already dial on my protein, already know exactly what I need to do as I'm traveling, as I'm abroad. Because obviously for yourself, right, like, you've had experience with working with clients for a longer term. So regardless of what happens in their life, you make sure that their life is easy on the fitness side. So I would say that's definitely one of the more valuable things. Because obviously as you make more money, right, like, you end up doing certain things with your money, right? You end up traveling, you might end up moving cities, right? So it might not even be traveling, but you move cities, you take vacations, you do whatever you need to do. So knowing that I can have somebody that makes just one aspect of my life, which is the fitness, and just handle it, and then I can focus on other things, is definitely valuable.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, because delegation is important, man. I think a lot of guys like us understand what that looks like, maybe with personal space. So it's like, hey, you can hire a house cleaner, maybe get your car detailed for you versus you cleaning it in the sun.
Yeah.
But we don't do that with fitness, and we just kind of treat our fitness like something we can still manage. When really, excuse me, we're going to leave that little blooper in there.
No worries.
That little teleprompter went off. I don't want people knowing we're not cutting shit. Let's see if we can go ahead and get this set up again. Let's see. There we go. And we understand the delegation aspect there, but with fitness, we think it's something we can manage ourselves. And eventually we can. That's kind of what I built my whole business around, is like teaching people independence versus dependence, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, sometimes you need to have those training wheels on you first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's one thing I will say. If you're somebody that's a micromanager, which I would consider myself a micromanager in terms of things I'm really, really interested in, like nutrition, I've been interested in since I was like, for over half my life, I've been really interested in nutrition. Honestly, before business. So, the biohacking stuff, like all that, like, I'm really interested in. So I would say there are two types of people that should definitely delegate. Number one, people that obviously very busy and that lack knowledge, but two, people that lack knowledge and people that lack time, so they're busy, right? For me, obviously I'm busy with the business, but it's also like if I were to take fitness and nutrition into my own hands, because I've done it before, lost multiple pounds, gained multiple pounds. So for me, I think the most valuable thing was just like freeing my time and my mind space, right? Because like getting deeper into the program, like near like the end of the 90 days, like me being proactive was a gift and a curse. It was a gift because obviously I did the things that I needed to get to the next level, but like I'm fucking focusing on my fitness so much, like closer to the 90 days, because like I really want to hit the goal. Obviously I'm very goal driven, and I did hit the goal because I knew that there was nothing that was going to make me not hit the goal. But because of that relentlessness, that led to a large time commitment on my end. Like, I'll be honest, like, there were times where I definitely could have been working, and I wasn't. I was thinking about, okay, like, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to do this? What am I going to do that? Like, I was in my head. So, me being in my head and me being, like, somebody that, I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but you could say I have tendencies of perfectionism at times. Being able to free up the time that it would take for me to do all those things myself, because I've done it. I've genuinely done it. Like tracked calories for I've done it. But being somebody that like, okay, this is growing, you gotta delegate something, right? I can't delegate sales calls. I can't delegate content, for right now, right? But it's like fitness. Yeah, I can delegate that, and not only can I delegate it, but I can also delegate it from somebody that I can learn from as well, right? Because it's like I might have knowledge in some areas, but it might be some other areas where I can get more knowledgeable in. So, saving time, and then also gaining knowledge, as a supplementary aspect.
No, I agree, man. One of the last points I want to mention, man, is the support you're able to receive, right? Because obviously I'm the one doing the messages, I'm the one doing the one-on-one calls. So talk a little bit more about like some of the one-on-one calls we've had, the value you received from them, the form reviews we did for you as well, tempo adjustments we've done for you. Kind of break that down, man, because there's a lot of online coaches out there that'll, and mind you, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but other coaches will do check-in videos. So I remember when we first started your program, we were doing, I think I sent you like a Loom video or two, and this is when I was kind of restructuring some things with some mentors I hired. But the idea that I was learning wasn't to do one-on-one calls. It was just to send videos and just text support, if that makes sense. And when I realized, like, okay, well, it's either going to be one-on-one calls or videos I record that's like a screen share, I'd rather just do the one-on-one calls and help people out a little deeper. I think you found more value in that too. Kind of break down your preference regarding that, and how I'm sure you appreciate that more than just me sending you a video. And some of the value you received on those calls.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, while I would say I do appreciate the calls, I'm somebody that's not against Looms. I send them all the time. I fucking honestly, like, despise pointless meetings, right? Yeah. I despise it. I'm not gonna tell fuck it. If they watch this video, they'll know this video is for them. I despise pointless meetings where it's like one person talking, the CEO's talking, everybody else is just looking at the CEO. The cameras are off, they're not doing shit, and the CEO's just giving updates and company new, like, and then they're doing like icebreakers. I fucking hate that shit. Let me work.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
let me work. Like, if I'm not working, I'm not doing anything like productive with my time. Either I make or I manage. So I'm working or I'm managing people that are working for me, right? Either or. And that's something that I very much like hold to high esteem. So, you know, loans are something that I absolutely have no, like, nothing against. But I would say, because I'm a client and because this is something where I am the beneficiary of a one-on-one call, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you really can't beat it, you know. Because as a business owner, yeah, it's easier to film on 5-minute loom than, you know, take a call. But the fact that, you know, obviously yourself, right, like, you actually value giving clients something that's in their benefit and not just thinking about yours, is definitely commendable. So, yeah, I would say 100%. I mean, the calls definitely help, especially when you can have some live review, live feedback. For me, I think about feedback loops. So when it comes to feedback loops, like me thinking, okay, I get feedback. How can I loop what he gave me into something where I instantly do it, see change, and then send it to you again, like tell you about the change that I saw, and continue to act in that direction so that I can see more change, right?
Exactly.
I'll say the calls definitely help with that feedback loop because I can ask you questions about something on the spot, and et cetera, et cetera. So.
Good, man. Yeah, I know the form reviews were a big thing for you too, because I know that before you were doing group coaching or like group classes. And again, group classes were great, man. I think in terms of like community building, especially the one that you were in, I've never seen another group class environment like that, genuinely.
Yeah.
I've done like the CrossFit, I've done wrestling growing up, the whole nine.
Yeah,
Like the environment you had there was incredible.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Kind of explain the form adjustments we made that might have differed from maybe what you were doing with the group classes.
Yeah. I would say form adjustments was something that, you know, I got form coaching for sure, but, you know, obviously just the nature of the model, group coaching versus one-on-one coaching, I'm the only focus, right? So you can go more in depth, right? Instead of focusing on me for 10 seconds and hop into another client, you just focus on me, right? So I would say I definitely saw greater change in terms of my form getting better, just because of the personalization. So yeah, I definitely agree.
It's good, man. Yeah, I know I love the group class model genuinely. I just think that there's a lot of room for improvement there. I feel like if there was more, I feel like if there was the head coach in a room, and then maybe like one coach that monitored 3 people's form at a time, even though it would cost the business more. I think that's what would really make it.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone's really maximizing what they're doing.
For sure.
But cool, dude. So I guess my last question for you, man, is if someone was on the fence about joining my program, because maybe they're seeing some of the short form content I'm pumping out, maybe they're seeing my name on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever the case may be, and they know they need a change, but they're hesitant about taking that leap, what would you say to that guy specifically?
For sure. Yeah, change only happens when the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same. So they're just not in enough pain if they don't take action. That's just the reality of the situation. And I feel like pain is something where most people aren't in actual pain. It's more so perceived pain. So what they lack is they truly lack the perception of, okay, like, they lack the perception of, like, okay, like what it takes to hit their goals, or they lack the awareness about what it takes to hit them, or so it's obviously something where, you know, they're just not, it just hasn't hit them, right? Like, I mean, it's just something where you gotta, sometimes, you know, you might be on the same highway with people, but some drive 120 miles per hour, some drive 70, and you gotta leave them behind. So just know that if you're watching this, you know, you're on the fence, and you might be somebody that you want to see change, but you're not acting in that direction, well, you're gonna get left behind, and you just have to ask yourself if you're okay with that. And when I say left behind, there's gonna be people that say, "Oh, well, behind it compared to who? That's not a competition." Well, the fuck it is. In your job, you compete for your job. You compete for your spouse. You compete for your employees. If you have a doc, I can't tell you how many people compete for the editors that I've hired. Yeah. People that have wanted to hire them, but I was able to attract them because of me, right? So you compete pretty much everywhere. You compete with content. You post content. Everybody's posting content. Everybody's posting out stories. You take a sales call. Everybody's got some type of program. So it's like, if you're on that sales call, what's going to differentiate you from the person that's taking that sales call that has this type of program and you have this type of program? So it's like, people will say like, oh, that's not a competition. That's not true. So it's like, it's really just about the perception of, they just have I say it's more so like an altered perception of life in general. It's like, they see life as not a competition when realistically it is. And you just have to ask yourself, do I want to compete at the highest level or not? And if you don't, cool. But don't aspire to being like people that do. Yeah. So it's just, I love the quote from Alex Hormozi. He says, it's like, okay, if you are on the fence and you want to see change, but you may not just be in enough pain, it's like, okay, you do not have the ability to desire the same things people want if you're not willing to pay the same price that people had to pay.
Exactly.
So it's like, either you want the Jordans and you pay the price, or you don't negotiate the price.
I agree.
So that's what I would say.
I'm not sure if you ever read David Goggins' first book, but he has this principle called the transparency mirror or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the way that he motivated himself was just telling himself the truth.
Yeah.
And I think the big problem that a lot of guys have is they're numbing themselves to the truth. Yeah. Sometimes it's less about creating artificial pain, and more so it's about like looking at where you're at in full transparency, putting your fucking cell phone down, putting away the junk food, putting away the vices.
Yeah.
Looking at yourself and saying, God damn, I'm just not proud of the man that I am.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as people can see the truth, they're going to realize, especially if they're kind of wired like you and I, which most of my clients are, just because I think vibes attract tribes.
For sure.
They want to live life at 100%.
Yeah.
And because they want to live life at 100%, you have to realize that just because you're good and you're better than most people from a performance standpoint doesn't mean that that's okay. I always tell people that if the goal is greatness, good needs to be just as unacceptable as bad as if your standard was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Simple as that. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's it right there. If you desire a life of something that's better than where you are right now, then you have to be better than you are right now. So
exactly,
that's what I would say.
Cool, man. Any last words before we cap off? Any other benefits? Anything else you want people to know?
Yeah, I guess last words, like I said, change doesn't happen until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. So like you said, it's not about creating artificial pain, but something that might create that pain for you is like, yo, doing what I'm doing right now, where would that lead me? Mm-hmm. If that answer is in not a better place than you are right now, you got to make a change.
Yeah.
And whether that's to change this program, another program, whatever it is, just know that you have to make a change. And just know that the only person that will make that change is you. And you just have to ask yourself, okay, I know that I have to make this change, but who can make it easy for me to make this change? Because as humans, we're only going to do things that are easy. So it's like, who can make this easy for me? And if that person is you, then pull the trigger. So that's what I was saying.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for your time today, dude. So
yes,
again, guys, that was me and Carson, or this is me and Carson kind of capping off the student success story. If you guys want more information about how I can potentially help you see results like Carson, and again, as you see, Carson's wired a little bit differently, right? Like I said, maybe I didn't mention this before. Most of my clients that come to me, guys, aren't like total beginners, and these guys aren't noobs when it comes down to fitness. So a lot of these guys that work with me, they know what a calorie deficit is. They know what progressive overload is. They know what supplementation looks like. They have experience with deadlifts, back squats, bench press, so on and so forth. But really, I'm the guy that helps people go from level 1 to 10. I'm not the 0 to 1 guy. So as you see with Carson, he already had quite a bit of momentum personally, professionally, and with his fitness in the past. but he just wanted to get to this elite status that he's at now with his fitness, and it's carried over to his professional goals as well. So again, if you guys want more information about how I can potentially help you out, you can fill out the form below. Love to talk with you sometime soon, and if you're a good fit, we'll talk about how we can help you out just like Carson. If not, no biggie, I'll at least point you in the right direction of something or someone else that may be a better fit for you. So thank you guys for watching.